Hello, welcome. It's funny because here's Maggie. I was just thinking, looking over some of my old videos, that maybe I would have been more popular on YouTube or Instagram if I had bothered to dress up some. And here I am recording in my pajamas. But another day. We're already started here. What I've decided to do right now is to try something out where I just make lists throughout the week of random shit that I think about and talk about with people and share, and that I find a little bit out of the ordinary, and then compile the list and share it with you here and see if you find it useful. Hope you enjoy. Um, Today, I have to come up with a catchy name for it probably, but today's list starts off with unexplained fears. I've been dipping back into past life regression books like Brian Weiss's work. He wrote Many Lives, Many Masters. There's a few other people that have written things. There's a book on YouTube called Journey of Souls that is a really nice listen, where people just regress people via hypnotherapy into their past lives and learn lots of stuff and super rad stuff. There's Journey of Souls is really interesting because it goes into focusing specifically on what happens in between the lives, whereas Brian Weiss's work with Many Lives, Many Masters and his other books are primarily just about the stories and the like psychological and physical issues that are solved through the past life regression. And he talks about how just finding the actual source of the things is what helps. And I love that because, anyway, my point here is just bringing up that if you have unexplained fears, they are probably from the past. And doing some kind of shamanic thing, some kind of visualization, perhaps past life regression, hypnosis, that kind of thing. If you have fear that you've had your whole life, nobody knows why the hell you have it. It seems really random. Maybe because there's compiling in other ones and becoming really crippling. I would look into past life stuff. And I kind of assume whenever somebody says something like that, that they are talking about a past life fear. Okay. Another one. Maggie is sitting on it right now. So this is a book called Job's Body. I may do one of these things where I just kind of go in and share what books are my favorites or things that I'm reading right now. This book there's a cool story about, but the thing that I wanted to read was this really fascinating excerpt about touch from the section on skin. This is a book um, for bodywork, essentially, is what it says. A handbook for bodywork, Job's Body by Deane Juhan. I don't know if that's how you say it. Juhan. And I wanted, there's a part in here on the skin where he's talking about touch and what it's like to be nurtured in different ways as a baby. And he compares these two things. He says, Margaret Mead made a study of two New Guinea tribes that throws some light on this influence of touch in such markedly different cultural circumstances. The members of the Arapash tribe take great delight in children and fondle them regularly. An infant is rarely out of someone's arms. The mother carries it in a sling around her body all day long, regardless of her activities, and if she is absent for any length of time, she is careful to devote enough attention to the child upon her return to make up for the lost hours. Nursing continues 3 to 4 years, and mealtime is a happy affair to both mother and baby, with nuzzling, tickling, rocking, sucking, playful pats, and laughter being usual parts of the ritual. The whole matter of nourishment is made into an occasion of high effectivity and becomes a means by which the child develops and maintains a sensitivity to caresses in every part of its body. Nor is the mother the only source of affection. Virtually every adult treats every child in the same fashion. The result is an easy, gentle, receptive, unaggressive adult personality and a society in which competitive or aggressive games are unknown, and in which warfare and the sense of organized expeditions to plunder, conquer, kill, or attain glory is absent. Living to the south of the Arapesh are the Mundugamors. To them, children are not a joy, and often before a child is born, there is much discussion about whether or not to let it survive. If it is allowed to live, it is promptly placed in a hard, rough basket carried like a pack on the mother's back, or hung from the wall while she is working. Infants are suckled when their crying cannot be stopped by other means. The mother stands to nurse and indulges in no fondling. As soon as suckling stops, the infant is put back in the basket on the wall. Thus, the infant has to fight for its food, clamping the breast aggressively and frequently choking, which infuriates the mother. The nursing experience is one of anger and frustration, struggle and hostility, rather than one of affection, reassurances, and contentment. It is time for weaning as soon as the child can walk, and this is done with abrupt harshness, as often as not by repeatedly slapping the child when it approaches the breast. The Mundugamors are an aggressive, hostile people who live among themselves in a state of mutual distrust and uncomfortableness. They are cannibals. Take from that what you will. I also want to let you know that Sacred Cow, one of my favorite documentaries, is free on YouTube now, and it is an amazing watch. If you have any interest in regenerative agriculture, of understanding why vegans and regenerative agriculture people are actually on the same side, and well, the arguments for ethical, biological, and I forget what the other one they put up for eating meat are ethical, biological, health reasons for eating meat are put in there. I think that something works for everybody, and our psyche has a lot to do with it, but it's definitely worth your time. Nick Offerman actually is the narrator for it too. Does that interest you? Check it out. Learn a whole lot about soil, or enough about soil and the predicament of the small farmer today. Sacred Cow on YouTube. Sacred Cow movie, I think is how you would find it. I encourage you to make up songs, because if you're gonna have some shit stuck in your head, it might as well be a song that you made up. And I think that's way more fun. It's also way more likely to be positive. So if you're somebody that's like wanted to do mantras or affirmations, but they always seem like bullshit to you, or you just never remember to do it, it doesn't catchy, make it catchy. I knew a very successful Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu team once who focused on making songs up for the children's classes, and it really helped everybody retain. This is like how we learn shit, because we're kind of programmed to do this stuff. So things that I sang in the last week are some things along the lines of, my body is always helping me. My body is always helping me. Nothing my body does is futile. My body is helping me. Stuff like that. You just kind of let it go wherever it's going to go, in your head or out loud. Highly recommended. And I find that they tend to get stuck in my head, and then if I continue with them, they evolve into something else, and I'm pretty sure it's a form of meditation and also a way for like spiritual truth to come through me if I let it evolve. Very important one, arguably the most important one for this week, is how nobody is actually a good conversationalist without the ability to pause. So if you're talking to somebody and they're arguing with you, and they're supposedly like, if they go like, oh, I see what you're saying, but they didn't pause, I guarantee they didn't even consider what you were saying. I get it. I don't. I know that when I do that, I'm not considering what people are saying. I wonder if the volumes, I mean, getting used to this new mic. Hopefully this won't be all over the place sound wise, but we'll find out. If you can cultivate the ability to pause yourself and just be like, just take a beat. It doesn't even have to be something really obvious. Like somebody saying a bunch of bullshit to you, and then you go, huh. It just lets it sink in a little bit. It allows the possibility of something new coming up. And again, if you notice that people in front of you are not pausing at all in the conversation that you're having, then they probably aren't actually considering anything that you're saying. They're just saying whatever they want. I think I'll talk about that another time. Here's something that I believe I've been doing this over the years, and most recently I've you know what, I'm not even gonna give specifics. I've decided just not to be afraid of ticks. I've noticed that, I mean, everything is affected by whether or not I'm fearful of it, and the reactions in my body, the cascade of events of chemical influxes and stuff are going to change as a result of my reaction to whatever is going on. So a big part of my like unlearning over years and years now has been to view things like my little song, like nothing, view everything that happens in my body as something that is helping me. um like my body's never stupid, it never makes just dumb decisions. By the way, I'm drinking corn silk tea. It's supposed to be very good for your kidneys and bladder. um Very mild taste. My dad hates it, but, and so I've noticed that in not being afraid of ticks, and I think that having worked through this stuff over years of practicing not being afraid of reactions, not being afraid of things in general, and I'm still afraid of plenty of things, but there are times where it feels like it's an opportunity to just decide that I'm not afraid of something. Sometimes I need to do a past life regression to overcome a fear, and sometimes I can just go, oh, I'm just decided not to be afraid of that anymore. It's nice to have the spectrum. Um, it definitely hasn't made my life any worse, and I would argue it's made my life better. I still find ticks on me. Our yard has lots of ticks. This is rural eastern Maryland, and there's more ticks here than I've ever seen anywhere else. And I've also been working on a farm. And I'm not saying that I enjoy the feeling of something growing on me, and I do address it quickly, but it's not accompanied, and I take them off as quickly as I can, all these things, but it's not accompanied by like a panic and a worry and all this stuff. And my relationship to what the ideas of disease are and all these things certainly play into that. But yeah, if you have the option, highly recommend just deciding not to be afraid of something and just dealing with it as it comes. Finally, last thing I want to say, one of the people that I work with on the farm is a 16-year-old who claims that her body is like a 70-year-old. I don't recommend talking shit about your body. It affects things, all this stuff. And like her neck hurts all the time, her back hurts all the time. So, but she's awesome, and she's such a hard worker, and she's amazing, and she's so intelligent and smart and mature in so many ways. And the farmer guy is really trying to convince her like to take care of her diet better, which is probably absolutely true, because gut health affects so much of what's going on. But what I got to have a little talk with her about was like, hey, you know, you say you hurt all the time. Something that you could do in just a few minutes a day. I said 10 minutes, but really it could be way less than that. Is to spend time moving around intentionally in ways that don't hurt. You're like, oh, everything hurts. I mean, like, okay, well, like if you say that, okay, I'm gonna take a few minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever. I'm gonna take 30 seconds to do some movements that don't hurt. I did this the other day when my hip was feeling a little funny after a day of work on the farm. I just moved it around in ways that didn't hurt, and then I was immediately able to put more weight on it. And I think that doing that and sending positive signals between the brain and the body really will helps long term for sure. Didn't it helps stop the cascade of things that are occurring, gives your body better information to work with, and like higher variability of what you could use to accomplish whatever physical task you need that day. um, but the point that seemed to drive it home for her was, I was like, hey, just so you know, the body does this really cool thing where if you keep moving through pain, you know, the pain signals, it will actually grow more nerve endings in that area. They're called free nerve endings. And it's, you know, their specific design is to help you feel more pain, because obviously you're not getting the message, and there's like a reason, whatever the reason is, past life or not, right? Circling back here, is that you are feeling pain, your body's using that signal to try to discourage you from moving through that range of motion. If you continue to do so, your body will proliferate free nerve endings in the area, and things are just going to hurt more and more. Like your body is constantly like building and taking down stuff throughout your body all the time. And so if you just practice moving in new ways, it will help calm that shit down and help give your body more options. And highly recommend it. And that's kind of some of the basis of the functional range conditioning stuff that a lot of you started following me on back in the day, is just giving your body better information and a wider variety of options to accomplish your daily tasks. So just to start off, as something as simple as not moving through things that hurt and practicing intentionally connecting to your body in ways that don't hurt for just a few seconds a day can make a really big difference, can bring that Kel cascade back down. So let me know what you think about this, about just kind of rattling off stuff that I've talked about during the week. And if you have any questions or things that you would like me to chat about, I'm all ears. I hope you're having a great day. I hope you make up a song today. And yeah, that's about it. Love you guys.